Actually, my cornea is totally not working at all, and my English is broken, so I hope we will be able to understand each other very well, because maybe English is not for your first language as well as not mine. I am asking for the Holy Spirit that able to explain His Word the best way from heart to heart. So let us pray. Lord, we have many things that we don't let go, that don't grab and hold. But you want us to be with open arms, open hands. So we are open our hands, symbolizing that we are open our hearts as well. And please take away everything that is not, shouldn't be there, and feel your spirit, your presence, your word, your truth, your light, that might be able to shine our life and through our life to others. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, this is the main words of the sermon that I want to say to you. Jesus said to His disciples, things that cause people to sin are bound to come, but woe to that person through whom they come. It would be better for him to be thrown into the sea with a millstone tied around his neck than for him to cause one of these little ones to sin. So watch yourself. If your brother sins, rebuke him, and if he repents, forgive him. It is good. Also, I will read this Matthew. At the time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Why did they ask it? Why is it better? Anyway, He called a little child to Him and placed the child among them, and He said, truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever takes the lowly position of these children is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever welcomes one such children in my name welcomes me. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believes in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to stumble. Such things must come, but who the person toward whom they come? If your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life maimed or crippled than to have 2 hands or 2 feet and be thrown into eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it too and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into the fire of hell. See that you do not despise one of these little ones. For I tell you that their angels in heaven always see the face of my Father in heaven.
그때 제자들이 예수께 다가와서 물었다. 하늘나라에서 누가 가장 큰 사람입니까? 예수께서 어린이 하나를 곁으로 불러서 그들 가운데 세우시고 말씀하셨다. 내가 진정으로 너희에게 말한다. 너희가 돌이켜서 어린이들과 같이 되지 않으면 절대로 하늘나라에 들어가지 못할 것이다. 그러므로 누구든지 이 어린아이와 같이 자기를 낮추는 사람이 하늘나라에서 가장 큰 사람이다. 또 누구든지 내 이름으로 이런 어린이 하나를 영접하면 나를 영접하는 것이다. 나를 믿는 이 작은 사람 가운데서 하나라도 걸려 넘어지게 하는 사람은 누구라도 차라리 그 목에 큰 맷돌을 달고 깊은 바다에 빠지는 편이 낫다. 사람을 걸려 넘어지게 하는 일 때문에 세상에는 화가 있다. 걸려 넘어지게 하는 일이 없을 수는 없으나 걸려 넘어지게 하는 일을 일으키는 그 사람에게는 화가 있다. 내 손이나 발이 너를 걸려 넘어지게 하거든 그것을 찍어서 내버려라. 내가 두 손과 두 발을 가지고 영원한 불 속에 들어가는 것보다는 차라리 손이나 발 없는 채로 생명에 들어가는 편이 낫다. 또 내 눈이 너를 걸려 넘어지게 하거든 빼어내버려라. 내가 두 눈을 가지고 불 붙는 지옥에 들어가는 것보다는 차라리 한 눈으로 생명에 들어가는 편이 낫다. 너희는 이 작은 사람들 가운데서 한 사람이라도 없이 느끼지 않도록 조심하여라. 내가 너희에게 말한다. 하늘에서 그들의 천사들이 하늘에 계신 내 아버지의 얼굴을 늘 보고 있다.
You live here in Vancouver or Burnaby in the area. I think all of you have neighbors, maybe not Koreans, maybe other nations. Am I right? Do they know that are you Christian? No? Few of them say yes, others say no. Some don't know that you are Christian. Maybe few knows because every Sunday you have a drive to the church. You are driving to the church, you go to church, hear the message and being together with other Christians, so they know it's Sunday morning, so they are going to church, so I don't see the car, so for sure they went to church, so they know that you are a Christian. Maybe they know that you go to church, but they don't know exactly whether you are a Christian or not. Maybe they know better that you are Christian if you say hello to them, a conversation. Maybe you have a testified of faith that I believe in Christ, and in my life happened like this. I read in the Bible like this. I have experienced the presence of God in my life like this, and other testimonies to the neighbor. They would be able to realize that yes, he is a Christian. Oh, it's wonderful. He is or she is really somebody different, somebody who has a kind of wave is coming out of him or her that is from the Holy Spirit, that is wonderful, is great. It's really something unbelievable. But what if your neighbor hears something different? You are angry. Oh, you are, no, sorry. I should say that you are never, I know, but okay, a little chance. You were angry once. And you are like this. Understand that you are usually not, but sometimes. Really. The neighbor who came and who experienced this says he is going to church every Sunday, and he or she is doing like this, even more something like this. It's crazy. It's crazy. And what if a Christian that the word and the people around him or her experiencing double? It means double-hearted or double speaking. Speaking something else there and speaking something else in another place. Or doing something in a Christian community and doing something totally different in another place. Or weighing because it's me and me. I want to look nice, I want to be nice, nicer than anybody else. Or Christian loveless, and someone experienced that. Or immoral, other things. There are so many. I have two. Wow. So, all of these are stumbles. When people whom we need to shine the Christ are unable to recognize His presence, His love. I'm sure you heard this story because it's a quite big story in the media. That Roman Catholic priests, I think only just Tennessee, 2,000 priests like this they found, who had abuses with little children. And it's a protest against them. And the media, of course, just as many articles as possible on different places that it's a horrible thing happened. And people are so angry with these priests. Maybe you heard that, actually this is 20 years ago, when John Paul II, the Pope, visited to Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is a very religious country, and all of them are Roman Catholic in Roman Catholic faith. And when John Paul II, Pope, visited Northern Ireland, more than 2 million people went to a mass that he officiated. 2 million people on a hill. It was never before a huge crowd like that. And this year, in August, this Pope, Pope Francis, went to Northern Ireland as well to visit them. And actually, this is a crowd. You see, it's a crowd, but not 2 million. It was around 200,000. John Paul II visited the theology seminary in Northern Ireland, in Dublin. That time there was 600 students. 600 students, 20 years ago, preparing for the service. This year, Francis went to the same seminary. There is more than 20 students. More than 20 students for the all seminary. 600 to 120. Do you know why? Why? Because the news that the Roman Catholic priest has done, and the media, and the citizen in the world, changing the hearts of people from the Lord, actually, and the church. And you can see in the media like this kind of scratch. Watch out, the little guy said. This new priest was transferred from LA to Los Angeles. And in the middle, in the corner, the left corner, all in the past, we hope, but nobody knows. If it happened once, it happened as many times as possible. Have you ever heard this? These are ministers, pastors, who are very rich, extremely rich, because they have a television show, They had a newscast and stuff like that. And if 1 million people watching, it's lots of money. And I heard once in the media, of course, where else, that one minister said that actually the commercial flights to fly to one point on the flight, it's not so nice at all. To fly from LA to New York on a regular flight, too crowded, too many people, it's so dangerous. You have to understand that I have to use my private plane to go anywhere because you see this whenever this is the only way to travel. And people are reading this and saying church is only for money. Ministers don't want anything else, just money. More and more and more money, that's the better. So, have you ever heard that? Please, honestly, have you ever heard that? "12 years ago, I get to know an old lady. She was so lonely. And I take care of her. I didn't know that. She inherited all of her possessions to me. And I got a home here in Burnaby. I never thought that I ever had my own home in Burnaby. I had my own home and I love to be there. I'm not so rich, but actually richer than many, because I have my own home in Burnaby. It's really a possession in this world, you know very well, all of you. So I am, in this way, rich. My wife had a dream. She was a very little girl. She sat in a BMW. And she always said to me, "Oh, darling, the car starts with BMW," because she experienced it. And of course, we were laughing, it's impossible, it's too expensive. And we had a big, quite big caravan, a Honda Odyssey minivan, because we had small kids and we delivered lots of church people. But it was too big to drive herself to the airport every day working. So we wanted to get rid of this car and buy a smaller car. And when I see all the advertisements on used cars, I found the BMW. And I was surprised. Wow. It is only that cheap. Why? And I read through all the article, and at the last paragraph I found very little letters that rebuilt. It means that the car was in a huge car accident. The car was totally crashed. Someone's taken this car and built up again. No warranty, anything like that. Very risky. But we bought the SUV, not SUV, we bought the minivan as unit as well, so we didn't have fare, so we bought the car. It's a beautiful luxury car. Rebuilt, but nobody see that. When I came to the church to preach, people said, "Wow, you are so rich." There were few people who stopped to come to the church because my wife had a BMW. And even I tried to explain that I am not as rich. Who cares? The car is there. Have you ever heard this story? No? Very recent, very sad. You know Salah. His man was a pastor. His man was the pastor of Willow Creek Church in California, one of the mega churches in California. His father built a church up, and he kind of inherited this church, but he was a faithful devoted Christian, preaching very good, very relevant message, very strong message, very encouraging messages. But he had some problem. He was unstable. He needed help. He got help, but not enough. And he had many troubles in life. I don't know, but he committed suicide in the church, in the mega church. And the wife and the 3 children left alone. And he was a Christian pastor. So, if it's a pastor, it's the same for you and me. We are watched, even by bears. They are watching us. All the world around us, watching us so carefully. What are you doing? What do you do? How do you treat your family? What they can see on you, around you. How do they judge you? We are in the middle of the window and everybody sees what is in the window. Want to see? Because you are Christian. Because you are carrying Jesus in your heart. So they want to see, okay, how are you different than others? What you have that I don't have? Do you think that you are better than I? I don't think so, they say. And many times they see like this, things like happen like this. They say, I've told you, you are other than me. I am better than you sometimes, and you are Christian. So it's horrible that you say that. You know why? There is no difference, Bible says. Romans 3:22-26. There is no difference between Jews and Gentiles, Koreans, Hungarians, English and German, and no matter what. For all have sinned, all, and fall short of the glory of God. And all are justified freely by His grace through the redemption that came by Jesus Christ. Christ Jesus. God presented Christ as a sacrifice of atonement through the shedding of His blood to be received by faith. He did this to demonstrate His righteousness, because in His forbearance He had left the sins committed beforehand unpunished. He did it to demonstrate His righteousness at the present time, so as to be just and the one who justifies those who have faith in Jesus.
그런데 하나님의 의는 예수 그리스도를 믿는 믿음을 통하여 오는 것인데 모든 믿는 사람에게 미칩니다. 거기에는 아무런 차별이 없습니다. 모든 사람이 죄를 범하였습니다. 그래서 사람은 하나님의 영광에 못 미치는 처지에 놓여 있습니다. 그러나 사람은 그리스도 예수 안에서 얻는 구원으로 말미암아 하나님의 은혜로 값없이 의롭다는 선고를 받습니다. 하나님께서는 이 예수를 속죄 제물로 내주셨습니다. 그것은 그의 피를 믿을 때에 유효합니다. 하나님께서 이렇게 하신 것은 사람들이 이제까지 지은 죄를 너그럽게 보아주심으로써 자기의 의를 나타내시려는 것이었습니다. 하나님께서 오래 참으시다가 지금 이때 자기의 의로우심을 나타내시는 것은 하나님은 의로운 분이시라는 것과 예수를 믿는 사람은 누구나 의롭다고 하신다는 것을 보여주시려는 것입니다.
So the brothers and sisters, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. Far away perfect. David chose to be closer to perfect than I, but I am not for sure. Because When I give my life to Christ, this is justification because God, looks at me like Jesus Christ, who has no sin. He is absolutely perfect. And when I give my life to Him, I pray, oh Lord, thank you for your forgiveness. I love you, Jesus. I want to follow you. Please fill my heart. Please take my heart. That is justification. But this is here, this point, and I am actually, as I am, a sinner like here. God sees me like this, but the actual truth is like this. But when justification happens, the sanctification starts in all life. Step by step, closer and closer. Never going to be reached the point where Jesus is, but closer and closer. You know, I would like to say an example. You know, very simple, natural thing is that if I drop this key, what's happening? This is a rule. You cannot do anything else. It's happening. Okay, but why airplane able to fly? Not dropping down. What's happening? Because it has engine and has another power that somehow balance the power that is coming from the earth and able to fly. So we are all sinners. Anyway, when the flight is on the air, still this power is still on them. So we are sinners, but we are able to fly by the grace of the Lord. Able to be there all the time and go to the way we want to go towards the heaven. That's the wonderful gift of the Lord Jesus Christ. But we are still sinners. Of course, the airplane stops and the engine stops. It's fall. Like we are. What we need. We need this special engine working all the time. In our heart, in our mind, in our life. Because if it's not, although there are many crashes and many aeroplanes crashing and people say, oh, there is no difference. These are the same or even worse than anybody else. There is no sense to be a believer. It's just a play, they say. Jesus said to his disciples, things that cause people to stumble are bound to come, but woe to anyone through whom they come. So anyway, if it is impossible to avoid that these things happen, when people stumble because our faith, Christians' faith, when it's not possible to avoid it, why Jesus says this? But woe to anyone through whom they come. Why? And it says, Jesus says, continues, it would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with the milestones tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. So watch yourself. I'm watching myself, but I can't. Lord, you know me. You know my situation. You died on the cross for me for my sins, and I'm not able to stand firmly all the time. Why? Lord, why do you tell it to me? Why? I don't understand. Do you understand? Is this a loving God who loved us so much First, Hebrew 12:4. In your struggle against sin. Yes, we have. I have. You have. All of us have struggled against sin. You have not yet resisted to the point of the shedding your blood. What does it mean? That means that you don't need to shed your blood because Jesus Christ has done so. But you have to ask Him to be with you. You have to give yourself to Him totally, 100%, to obey, to follow. Otherwise, you are unbalanced. And also, Bible says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. So easily entangles. Okay, please, throw off. Throw off to where? Throw off to Jesus. Because He's given for my salvation, for my eternal life. It is not play. It is really serious. Very important. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before Him endured, and the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider Him, dear brothers and sisters, who endured such opposition from sinners, because you can get the same, but He got it for nothing because He did anything. He did not do anything at all, but you do, and I do. Consider this, consider Him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Yes, Lord, I'm a sinner. And I understand that, but I don't want to do like that. I want to represent You, Lord. Help me do so. Because God wants us to live under the grace of Christ. And no perfect human being is shining. Because no such category of perfect human being, no any. But who has been receiving grace of God in Jesus. Who has been receiving grace. What does it mean? It means if his or her sin or sins came up to the surface, he or she is taking them. Do not ignore them. Do not cynical. Do not talk something else. Do not fight back. Oh, you said that I'm a sinner. No, you are bigger sinner than I know what did you do at that time. You said it to me. When you do so. No. If you're a real believer, you say, yes, I'm righteous. I'm so sorry. But you know what? Is it possible to pray together for me? Is it possible that I can confess this sin with you to God? I've already confessed it to God, and God has forgiven. Well, actually, it's not easy. It's not easy, especially if you're a priest, or a priest who had adultery with